Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Bitter Pill. As you can see, this is a live episode from my phone, so don't have the usual video quality. Let me switch around the um, view here, so you'll be looking at uh, whatever I point the camera at, rather than at myself. So as you can see here, there are a couple of cops stationed uh, near the entrance to Dunn Meadow, which is the main sort of campus hangout here at Indiana University, next to the Student Union, which the site of which is over here. And last night, or sometime during the day yesterday, there was a sniper positioned on the roof of the uh, Indiana Memorial Union here. And I'll show you approximately where it was in a second. I think it was this big tower right here. Um, and there were massive riot police out here. There was a tent city set up here at Indiana, as there have been at many universities around the country that just went up yesterday. And almost immediately, the administration sent cops in to break it up. Um, there were, I think, about 30 arrests, and several students. In fact, I think it might have been all of the ones who were arrested were immediately suspended. They can't even come on the campus for about a year. Um, so there were hundreds of people, I think, here, um, and as I, as you can maybe see off in the background there, I haven't gone over there yet. The tents are gone, but there's still an active protest of several dozen people there. So I'm going to go over there and just give you a view of the protest, and maybe talk to somebody if anybody wants to talk to me. So here we go. Going by the cops here. I can't stay very long because I only have 45 minutes in the parking meter, but I just wanted to get a glimpse of what's going on here. Well, there's quite a few people here. People with Palestinian flags here. Um, and over here, well, let's have a look at this. Over here, we have some sort of stupid frat house with an Israeli flag draped down from a window, and a banner that says "Bring them home now." And of course, they will never talk about the fact that Israel has hostages too, that there are thousands and thousands of Palestinians detained in Israeli prisons who either are not charged with any crime or are illegally detained beyond their sentence, or don't even have a sentence, or were not given a fair trial. And the only time that any of those hostages, we could call them, have been released was when there was a negotiated settlement. Otherwise, basically what's happened to the hostages is that they've been killed, either on October 7th when they were first taken, or afterwards due to the bombing in Gaza. But these assholes will never tell you about that. Okay, so fuck them. Let's go over to the protest. my mistake, there are tents here. So good to see. Looks like we have about half a dozen tents here. I should note that this is not by any means the first time that there has been an encampment here in this field, which is called Dunn Meadow. That's just adjacent to the Indiana Memorial Union that you see there in the background, where up on, I'm not sure which rooftop it is, I think maybe the big tower there, there was a sniper position just the other day. And as you can see, I initially thought there were several dozen people here. It looks more like, you know, at least a couple hundred. So I'll just kind of pan around and show you what the crowd here. All right, let's listen to the chants a little bit. Again, this is Indiana University here in Bloomington, Indiana, home of many protests, including tent cities over the years. There's never been a response by the administration here like there was yesterday to this protest. I've been at encampments here for the first Iraq War, for the Afghanistan War. My memory is a little fuzzy about whether there was one for the Iraq War, although there were huge protests here. And apparently there was one for when, in the 80s, before I got here, when people were protesting against South African apartheid, protesting for IU, as it's called here in Indiana, to divest from South Africa. There's never, ever been a case where we had repression like there was yesterday, where dozens of students were arrested, some of them were beaten. All the arrested ones, last I heard, were suspended. And there was literally a sniper on the roof of the Union building that you see there. This is unprecedented. Okay, enough talking for now. Let me walk around. Maybe I can talk to somebody. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. I'm not going to stick around if the cops come in. So. But it doesn't look like there are very many of them. If they were actually going to try to break up the tents, there would be at least several dozen, and there are only 2. So I guess at this point I'm not worried. But lots of action here. I'm going to see if maybe I can talk to this student with the sign that says "Snipers for Students?" ? Maybe I won't interrupt just for now. Maybe I'll just join the circle. Identity is only acknowledged when you cannot be exploited as their diversity token. Yep, right on. I'm broadcasting to my little YouTube channel right now. Okay. Would you mind doing a short interview about? What's that?
They said to not speak to the media.
Okay. I'm just an independent.
No, I know.
Okay.
But just want to follow the rules. Sorry.
What's that? Yeah. Oh, I understand. Okay, so I guess I'm not going to get any interviews. But you can see there's, I would say, like 300 people here, something like that. So that's, and this is happening all over the country. There are, I think at this point, probably about 50 campuses that I know of that have encampments like this. So, all right, I think I'm just gonna just let you watch this since I'm not able to talk to anybody right at this point.
Oh shit! You don't know that one? No.
IUBDKKK.
All the same. Oh, he's bringing it. They were.
Shut it down. Shut it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Israel is a terrorist state.
1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, I thought I would share some of the backstory about what's been going on here at IU the past few months. Back in November, I believe it was, some activists here invited a speaker to campus. I think it was Ilan Pappé, the Israeli-American activist and former general in the Israeli military, who's now an anti-Israeli apartheid activist. If I'm mistaken about who it was, please correct me, but I think that's who it was. So anyway, the professor who invited him to speak was actually suspended from his position until this fall for 8 months or something like that. This person's got a Witten resign placard. Witten, I forget her first name, is the president of IU. She's obviously quite unpopular here. So anyway, this professor was suspended from his, relieved of his duties temporarily, merely for arranging for a speaker to come onto campus. It's just truly incredible. And students such as Bryce Green, who's a grad student here at IU, and also a columnist for Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting, where he does great stuff, was involved in this group that tried to bring this speaker to campus. And he says that the administration basically tried to interrogate him and other people to get dirt on this professor. And, of course, the investigation that they did of him didn't turn up anything, but the president of the university, Whitten, decided to suspend him anyway. And so just a few days ago here at IU, there was a vote, overwhelming vote by the faculty it was a vote of no confidence in the president of the university and the administration generally. Something like a 10-to-1 ratio, 800 and some odd votes to about 40 against the resolution. So she is really not well liked at all here. You can see signs among people in the crowd asking for President Whitten to resign. And just earlier today, before I got here, there was a protest by several hundred faculty members, from what I understand, in the administration building. I'll try to get a link to footage that and put it on the YouTube version of this. So anyway, I'll stop now and just walk around the crowd a bit. Let's take a look at some of the signs here. Student Intifada, genocide, call it what it is. Glory to those who make the occupier taste bitterness, free Palestine. IU cut ties with Crane, which is a military base, a naval weapons testing facility about 30 miles from here. You have to bear in mind, universities are basically corporations, and they have investments in all kinds of nefarious activities all over the world, investments in corporations that do business with Israel, for example. So one of the chief demands of the protest movement against Israel is for universities to divest from companies that do business with Israel, which is the same thing that back in my day, when I was a grad student in Illinois in the 80s, that was the demand of students back then. Divest now, and now we have the boycott, investment, and sanctions movement. So, Crane on campus, this one says, again, that's a reference to that military base that I talked about. Let's see what else we got. Abuse of power comes as no surprise. Yep. Although this is kind of unprecedented that they have engaged in this level of oppressiveness.
Palestine will never die. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine in the occupation. Save Sheikh Jarrah, which is a neighborhood in East Jerusalem, near where the Al-Aqsa Mosque is located. And you probably know about how Israeli settlers and police and so forth have repeatedly invaded Al-Aqsa Mosque and beaten and tear gassed and otherwise repressed worshippers there, prevented them from accessing the mosque. And Sheikh Jarrah, the neighborhood in East Jerusalem, which is I guess considered a part of the West Bank, is, as you might expect, a target of efforts by settlers to push Palestinians out, kick them out of their homes, steal their land, and so forth.
Free, free Palestine.
Samia Halabi, censored by IU. We'll have to look up who that is. It might be the professor that I was referring to, but I can't remember. So I'll look that up.
You can hide. You're supporting genocide.
Free, free Palestine. 15,000 plus children murdered. And probably a couple hundred more by this point since October 7th in the West Bank as well. Your tuition funds, genocide, as do our tax dollars, of course. Disclose, divest, free Palestine. IUP, KKK, IOF, all the same. As you probably know, actually the Israeli Defense Forces, as they're officially called, or Israeli Occupation Forces, as many of us call them, train U.S. police and shared tactics with them and so forth. So it's really scandalous. Excuse me. IU platforms Islamophobes, silences Muslims. It's not a conflict, it's not a war, it's a genocide. Divest now. IU invests in death, divest and fight back. And there are lots of other signs. Let me just pan around the crowd, I'll walk around. Palestine will be free. From the river to the... Palestine will live forever. Oh, they turned it around. 3, 4. Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8. Israelis a terror state. Free, free
IU violates own policies to censure Middle East professor. Yeah, there was not a formal investigation. It was just a unilateral decision by the president to suspend him. And also, like a number of other universities, IU administration changed its policies on student guidelines, or whatever you want to call them. Usually those are set by a faculty committee. And IU administration decided to, without consulting the faculty committee, change those guidelines to enable them to do what they did yesterday, to suspend students merely for quote-unquote trespassing on the campus, where they pay over the course of their education tens of thousands of dollars to be here. This is their home, and they're being quote evicted from the university that they attend for quote trespassing on Dunn Meadow, which is a public space at a public university, which has been basically sort of a free speech zone. I mean, not that we should be able to freely speak everywhere, but as opposed to, say, holding a protest in a classroom or something like that. Dunn Meadow has always been a space where protests have been allowed, and yesterday it was not. So that's why all these people are out here. Looks like several dozen at this point. 40,000 dead and counting. Free Palestine.
Occupation no more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Israel is a terror state. Wall by wall. Brick by brick, wall by wall. Up by fire.
trying to get a rough sense of the size of the crowd here. I've counted about 50 up to a second ago. You're going like an eighth of a way around the march. So, and then there's a row of people behind them. So, I would say more than 500 are here.
Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Over here is another view of the Indiana Memorial Union, the largest student union in the United States, last I heard. It's enormous. There's some people up there. I wonder who they are. Let's see.
I do think they got hired security.
Wonder if they're cops.
Free, free, free Palestine!
No, it's just people watching the protest, it looks like, getting pictures like I am. Anyway, I'm going to have to go back to my parking location in a few minutes because I only have 3/4 to feed to the meter, and I'd rather not have a ticket. Doesn't look like there are any cops here at the moment, but I'm curious what sort of negotiations there were to be able to set the tents back up, and there doesn't appear to be a significant police presence here at the moment. Just, I don't know, 2 or 3 officers around. So, as you may have heard, a similar set of events unfolded at Columbia University, which, as I talked about last night, kind of set the ball in motion for these protests, encampments to spread, across the country. And basically, at Columbia, initially the police came in and tore up the encampments, arrested over 100 students, and suspended a few of them, about 70 altogether. And after negotiations with the administration there, they allowed the tent city to go back up, and it became much larger, and it's still going as far as I know, a week and a half now. Let's get a distant view of the crowd. As I said, I got to run back to my car because I don't have that much money in the meter. But so far, this looks like a peaceful protest. And, if it weren't peaceful, it would be because the cops were roughing people up. But so far, so good. Anyway, I assume some sort of negotiations are going on between the students and this highly corrupt administration that we have here, students and faculty as well. As I mentioned, there was a faculty protest earlier in front of the administration building. There was I think there still is a grad student strike ongoing here. And, as you might imagine, they've sent a message of solidarity to the protesters. And anyway, people are very much behind these protests here on Indiana University, Bloomington, IU's campus, and on many, many campuses across the country. So as I was mentioning last night, at Columbia, there was recently a student referendum on divestment of the university's assets from companies doing business with Israel, and it passed overwhelmingly, well over 70% of the vote. I forget the exact figure. I would hope that something similar will happen here. We'll see what exactly happens, and I'll try to get some more information about that. But anyway, I just wanted to come down here once I heard about this yesterday and see what was going on and do some live reporting for a change. So anyway, I also need to fix the live stream from last night, as those of you who watched it saw. It my computer glitched about 15 minutes from when I was planning on ending my presentation, and so the camera went out, and I couldn't get to stuff I wanted to show to people. So it's quite a mess. So I'm probably going to try to redo that last little bit, at some point, today or tomorrow or something. But anyway, hey, it's happening here in Bloomington, Indiana. It's happening all over the country that people are, students and faculty and staff at universities all over the country are standing up and saying no to Israeli occupation and genocide and apartheid, and no to this country's support for that. Our tax dollars are going to support it. Students' tuition money is going to support it through their universities' endowments, how they invest their money. So Israel cannot be doing what it's doing without this support. Okay, well, I haven't turned the camera around, but whatever. If you watch this before, you know what I look like, so it doesn't matter. But I'm mainly just giving you a view of the sidewalk here. But this is a beautiful little town. I've lived here for about 35 years now. I came here on a postdoctoral fellowship in 1989, and shortly after that, there was the Persian Gulf War, the first Iraq War, and there was a tent city set up here, there at Dunn Meadow back then, and it was left alone. So clearly, the desperation of the ruling class to suppress dissent has increased since that time, or maybe because it's Israel that's being protested, central to U.S. dominance of the Persian of the Middle East, which really doesn't exist anymore. I mean, the U.S. has gotten weaker globally, and various states and armed groups have gotten a lot stronger militarily and politically and otherwise. So anyway, I guess I will sign off for now, and I will talk to you again soon.